I read a piece this week that put words to what I've been feeling, but I couldn't explain myself. And before I go any further, I really need to be honest about something. I didn't pay attention to politics because it didn't touch my life. My kids were fine, my family was fine, my bills were paid, so I stayed in my own lane and I went to work and I came home and I just lived my life. If I'm being real, it was ignorance. So I'm sitting here now feeling like something is deeply wrong with the world because whatever is happening has finally crossed the line from out there into all of us. Something fundamental has shifted. The ground rules of being human feel like they've changed. The way people talk, what they're comfortable saying out loud, what gets defended, what gets dismissed, what gets normalized. What I'm watching feels much bigger than politics. It feels like people are being slowly trained to just look away, to get tired, to get numb, to accept things that they would have been alarmed by not that long ago. And the scariest part is how normal that's starting to feel. Because the things happening right now are real. They affect safety and stability and the future we're all standing inside of, whether we want to talk about it or not. But that doesn't stop what's unfolding right now. It just means you're not looking at it. And that terrifies me. I remember being in high school and learning about Nazi Germany and asking my grandfather how something that horrific could ever happen, how regular people just let that happen. And he looked at me and said, it didn't arrive all at once, it just happened. And standing here now, watching the world shift in real time, that answer finally makes sense to me. This is how it happens. Quietly, gradually, while people just continue telling themselves that everything's fine. Everything I see on here just blows my mind even more than the day before. So if you're still here, this part matters. I read the article written by Michael Joachim, and I want you to listen. Let's get something straight. It has never been about Trump, not for 1 second. Trump is just the mascot. The real story is of people who finally saw themselves in him and felt validated by what they saw. I actually believe most of them will drift away when the cult collapses, like embarrassed fans of a one-hit wonder. Many of them will swear they were never really into him at all. The mega amnesia is going to be epic. I used to wonder how it was possible that Trump could have won in 2016 and then again in 2024, given how emotionally toxic, morally vacant, and psychologically mangled he is. I don't wonder anymore. I think he won for that exact reason. He wasn't a candidate. He was a mirror. If you were a racist, you found your guy. If you were a misogynist, you found your guy. If money was your only religion, you found your guy. If your heart was armored shut, you found your guy. If you mocked disabled people, you found your guy. If you hated intelligent people, you found your guy. If you were a rapist, you found your guy. If you enjoyed golden showers with Russian sex workers, you found your guy. If you'd done absolutely nothing to confront your emotional wreckage, you found your guy. If you were a serial cheater, you found your guy. If you were a perpetual bankrupt, you found your guy. If you stiffed honest workers, you found your guy. If you were a con man, you found your guy. If you mocked people's appearances, you found your guy. If you longed for a toxic daddy, you found your guy. If you were disassociated and disembodied, you found your guy. If you were unconscionable in every economic dealing, you found your guy. If you lied as naturally as breathing, you found your guy. If you'd never eaten a green vegetable, you found your guy. If you were a white supremacist, you found your guy. If your ego contained a hole so large not even the presidency could fill it, you found your guy. If you were a sociopath who cared not one molecule about other humans, you found your guy. If he only had 2 of these traits, he never would have won. He won because he had hundreds of them, and millions of people recognized themselves in at least one. This has never been about Trump. It has always been about the people who finally had their worst instincts validated. Trump didn't create cruelty, he licensed it. He handed out permission slips for hate. He is merely a symptom of far deeper disease, collective toxicity. If there is one sentence that explains Trump's power, it is this: he says the things I'm thinking. That's the part that should chill the spine. He knew that tens of millions of Americans were thinking such unconscionable things about their fellow citizens. Who knew how many white men felt so threatened by women and challenged by minorities that they were ready to torch democracy to feel big again? Who knew that after decades of apparent progress on race and gender, so many people were living in seething resentment, waiting for a demagogue to legitimize their worst selves and convert their bitterness into political power? Perhaps we were living in a fool's paradise. We aren't anymore. If you made it to the end of that, You're not the problem. You're the conscious. The world doesn't fracture in one loud moment. It bends, it softens, it excuses, it adjusts. And one day you wake up and realize the air is different. So if your chest feels heavy, if your stomach drops when you scroll, if you feel the ground under everything that you believed in is shifting, you're not broken. You're awake. And in times like these, staying awake is an act of courage. Thank you for staying. Have the day you deserve.